Hey YouTube, it's Hannah Loba. If you want more MotoAmerica content, check out the new and vastly improved MotoAmerica Live Plus app. It's the only place you can catch all the race action in one place all season long. Click the link in the description below.
Let's take a look at our starting grid for Supersport race number 2. It's PJ Jacobsen, Matthew Skoltz, and Corey Alexander, your front row.
And then we have Blake Davis, Jake Lewis, and Gerardo there on row 2. Further back, Ty Scott, Kayla Yakov, and Tamburini with Mesa, Anthony, and Torrin Collins. They're back on row 4. Max Van, very impressive, Aiden Sneed, and then Brendan Kettleson. Teague Hobbs, Jarrett Nassani, and Alexander Enriquez. Then we have Soltis, Larry Pegram, Lovett, Owen Williams, LaRoche, DeLeon, and Grigg. Then we have Black, Tropkoff, and Omen, Erstein, Topman, Ricci.
19 laps in Supersport race number 2, and we're away racing, and it looks like the front row got a good launch. PJ Jacobsen on the number 15 is going to give way to Corey Alexander on the Rahal Ducati Moto with roller die informing. Is he going to lead us into turn number 1? No, PJ goes around the outside, dirt track style. So PJ Jacobsen takes over the lead on his Rahal Ducati Moto with Expel machine, and right behind, Matthew Skoltz on this track racing Yamaha R6.
Yeah, pretty impressive start from Corey, especially like we hear him talking about his size a lot. Matthew's already having a look at him going up there into turn number 4. He makes that pass quickly. So 2 really good starts this weekend from Matthew Skoltz. He's been able to get off the line with the leaders. Also, Ty Scott, who we were just talking about before the start of this race, he gets himself, as Matthew almost gets in the back of PJ, but Ty Scott gets himself up to 4th. You see Matthew protecting that inside line so that he wasn't going to be susceptible to a pass from Corey Alexander as they headed that big steep hill up towards the corkscrew for the first time.
We talked to Matthew Skoltz after the race yesterday, and he talked about trying to get a drive with the Ducati, and I think that was part of it. He was really working on getting those drives, and PJ wasn't quite as fast off that corner, and they nearly collided. So it's PJ Jacobsen leading the way. Now Skoltz has some work to do to make up some ground. Boy, the top 3 had a bit of a gap, and now all of a sudden, Ty Scott is dragging the rest of the field up with him.
Yeah, he really is, and he came from, I believe, the 3rd row, did Ty Scott, so that's a good start, like I said, from him. So now we're going to see if he can chip into these 3 guys in front. Little different scenario than yesterday. Matthew Skoltz led yesterday from the start, essentially out of turn 2.
PJ Jacobsen continues to lead. And again, there's a little bit of a gap on the flat section mid-part of this racetrack.
But he was just kind of playing that game and keeping a bike underneath him for the last 3 or 4 laps as we have a rider down. Max Van looks like he is tipped off. Trying to figure out where that is exactly, Greg. It looks like it could be turn 9 or turn 10, possibly.
And then behind them, it looks like it's going to be the 161 of Maxi Gerardo on the EasyHealthPlans.com Top Pro Racing GSXR 750. This is next generation Supersport. We have a huge variety of motorcycles and displacements with our next gen bikes. A look at the pass on the left part of your screen.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times where PJ just gets out a little far in the middle of the turn. And that R6, man, it turns, doesn't it, Greg? I mean, you can see Matthew's confidence in that bike being able to cut a very, very tight arch. And these 2 guys get a little racy with each other. There's the potential where Corey can finish in between. Now, back to this battle. Blake Davis has made the pass once again. Ty Scott looking up underneath him over this very, very fast turn 1. He's going to make that pass, and I love what I'm seeing from Mesa as well. Mesa has got by Gerardo, and he's in this fight for 4th as Davis stuffs it back up underneath Ty Scott. We also have Tamburini in this thing. We have Kayla in this battle also,
and
as well as Jake Lewis. So Jake didn't get the best start. That's a key aspect, and you can see here, these 2 guys, 26.9 that last time by. This is the first lap that we've seen her bike in the 6s. So Matthew Skoltz goes 26.970 to a 27 flat, and that's the one that that's the lap there, the first lap that we've seen them kind of break away from Corey.
And really looked like he might be a title contender as Jake Lewis on the brakes into turn number 11.
Yeah, he did a good job, and look what the big man does. Greg, he moves right over to the left so that Kayla has to go down the outside. Tried to make it hard for her, but it didn't look very difficult, did it?
Especially PJ Jacobsen on the V2 and Matthew Skoltz. You could see that some of these motorcycles, like the Suzuki GSXRs and the R6s, just have a better, tighter turning radius.
Today under the canopy, that's just where PJ's comfortable. He doesn't mind letting the bike move around, doesn't mind lighten that rear tire up, and once it starts for PJ, he's able to kind of keep that consistent. So 27.0 to a 27.1 that last time by. The concerning one there is Corey Alexander at 27.6. Yeah, and I had a good discussion this morning with his, is this Gerardo? Turn 6. Matt Gerardo has a problem there in turn 6, so he's going to fall back. But talking to Derek Keys, crew chief, this looks like it's going to be a true fight. These guys have quite a bit of a gap now over Mesa. It's about, what is it, Greg? 2.5 seconds, I guess, is Mesa back from these two. So if these two start really engaging, as Blake looks like gets that pass done, doesn't he, into turn 4.
Is that R6 turning, right?
Yeah,
just turned it right underneath him. Corey has a look over his shoulder to see who's behind him, and Schultz slowed down to a 27.5.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Matthew leaned into the back marker there. I felt like he could have just kind of held his line and gone straight up there. And, you know, I know he's trying to get over to the right for that line that he wants. You can see him pull back over, but it actually helped PJ more when that happened. So, and he did drop back into the 26s after that lap that he had previously, as PJ's got a run on him here going up to the corkscrew.
Matthew's going to hear that and feel that, so he takes evasive action and will still lead us out of the corkscrew down towards Rainy Corner. So Matthew Schultz starting to come under fire. That's on the back of Sector 1.
And, you know, Greg, there's a transition for sure when it comes as far as getting used to coming from a Junior Cup bike, from a Twins Cup bike, and so on. So it looks like they're going to put a lap on Aiden Sneed. I think he's obviously had a problem at the beginning of this race, because normally we wouldn't see Aiden back in this spot. Look at him, just gets out of the way. As soon as Matthew went underneath him, and that was close there between PJ and Matthew. But heads up, good head on his shoulders for Aiden as he saw those guys going through.
Yesterday, Aiden Sneed was in a fierce battle with his teammate Roberto Tamburini.
But let's not forget yesterday's race. It'll be interesting to see if PJ does make this move. The second PJ, you can see how tight the Ducati can exit that corner there. Pretty impressive from what I just noticed coming out of Rainy Corner. But, you know, yesterday PJ, the second he got by Matthew, he put his head down, and Matthew just struggled to go with him. It almost looked like he didn't have enough tire underneath him to kind of go with PJ. So
the battle for the lead, and a fierce battle in the championship as well. Here comes PJ Jacobson down into turn number 2. PJ going sideways, dirt track style, his roots of racing.
You know, the thing is now, if he can roll through turn 4, turn 5 would be the next best option for PJ. As you can see, he's all over the back of Matthew at the moment. So for PJ Jacobson, he's got to try to get through here well. He can actually draft off that big frame of Matthew Schultz, but Matthew does a tremendous job getting out of turn 4. It's going to make it hard. Look how he moves over to the left. That's just to thwart those efforts that PJ may have had a thought of going down the inside of 5. So far, Matthew's been able to play it a little bit defensive, but not slow the pace down. Look at all the way over to the left again. He's not letting PJ do what he did yesterday. Now the next one. Matthew's going to have to go over to the left at the top of the corkscrew here, because look at PJ's got to run.
Yeah, but PJ's got to get by him because he knows Matthew's very aggressive in that section.
Yep, that's a spot where Matthew's really good at closing that entry off at the top of the corkscrew. And now it's just anybody's guess. Now you just got to think, is it going to be a classic turn 11 move that PJ's going to just try to run it up underneath Matthew and park him?
Here he goes, PJ Jacobson trying to turn that Ducati, and oh, there's almost contact. PJ forces the issue and gets by.
Big pass.
What a move by PJ Jacobson. He took the opportunity. Into turn 10 he goes. He has no idea how close Schultz is, and to the line he goes, and PJ Jacobson, head behind the bubble, streaking towards the checkered flag, will take victory here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, Supersport race number 2. And here comes Blake Davis in 3rd place. Another solid podium for the young Yamaha rider. And it's going to be Ducati, Yamaha, Yamaha.
He's able to get out of this corner throughout the whole race a little bit better, and he just sets himself up under. And look at PJ. He's got his foot on that right rear brake as well. That is a close move. And to be fair, heads up to Matthew Schultz. He could have pressed that issue.
Early on, Corey was looking pretty strong, and then for whatever reason, his pace dropped a little bit. Blake Davis, great ride by him. Stefano Mesa there, back in the top 5. That's got to be huge for Stefano, but Corey Alexander to bounce back from whatever the problem they had yesterday. Another top 5 finish for him. Has to be a pretty solid weekend for him.
But Jason, here's the results. PJ Jacobson over Matthew Schultz. Blake Davis again in 3rd. Corey Alexander 4th. Mesa in 5th. Great ride from him. Kayla Yakov ends up ahead in that battle for 6th place. Lewis, Tamburini, and Scott. Let's get down to Hannah.